About our Casuarina tree by Toru. This is someone else's composition, and here you can find the Casuarina tree. This is the Casuarina tree, and here we have a visual of the poetess Toru. So we have nothing to do with this composition directly. Let us go to the text. Now our Casuarina tree, the first line, look here. Like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented deep with scars, up to its very summit near the stars, a creeper climbs in whose embrace is bound no other tree could live. So up to this is the first 5 lines. So this is actually one complete sentence, and through this sentence the poetess tries to say so many aspects about the poem's main object, that is the Casuarina tree. So first, like a huge python. Now if we can check this out, the python generally used to be a huge animal. Now let us check out where is that python. The python is here. This is something we need to focus. This is a picture of python coiling round a female. Now you can easily point out this, where a python is seen taking in its grip a woman. Now there is another picture of python. This is another picture of python. Look at it. The python is gobbling up a bat. A huge bat is here. So look at python. The python's strength and structure is basically horrible. However, now so like a huge python winding round and round, the rugged trunk indented deep with scars. A rugged trunk we all know that. Let us get that picture of a rugged trunk. So this is a picture of a rugged trunk. See, this is the trunk, and here you have the scars. So there is another one. So these are the scars of a tree. Now in Casuarina tree, so okay, let us just first see a Casuarina tree before we understand anything. This is a Casuarina tree. So this one is a huge Casuarina tree, and second one is here. Okay, I'm coming to this point again. Something we need to focus on. Where is it? Yes, this is another picture of Casuarina tree. So the Casuarina tree in basic idea, this is not a huge trunk, but the rugged trunk that we are speaking about is this. So with indented deep means there are the scars. So what do these expressions suggest? The rugged trunk, see that indented deep with scars, up to its very summit near the stars. So okay, because the python-like creature, the creeper, the python-like tree is coiling around the tree, the huge Casuarina tree, it suggests that despite of its so many tortures, the tree is still existing on that same ground. The rugged trunk indented deep with scars suggests that the tree has a history. The tree can assume, we can assume this, that the tree has already accepted so many tortures, and because it has accepted so many tortures and such activities throughout its life, the tree is experienced. So it is there for a long time, and it had been experiencing so many objects of life. So the rugged trunk indented deep with scars suggests that up to its very summit near the stars, up to its very summit, its height, the height of the tree is very high. A creeper climbs in whose embrace is bound no other tree could leap. So like a python, now let me show you that picture of the creeper. Here is a picture of a grape tree, but this is not what we need to look for. We need to look for this. Look at this. The tree is taking this pillar like a python. It is also coiling round. So this is the creeper. Now, as the line suggests, that the creeper climbs in whose embrace is bound, no other could live. So basically, no other could live, because this, like a huge python, the creeper is with the Casuarina tree, but the Casuarina tree is still living. So this is what the existence of life suggests. Through these lines, the poetess tries to suggest that Casuarina tree has a larger life, larger than anything. The existence of the tree is basically typical in the sense that it has been existing, and its existence is very sure in this world, and the poetess is very astonished to see this. So no other tree could live, but gallantly the giant wears the scarf. See that? Gallantly the giant wears the scarf. Now the tree, first of all, has been termed as gallant, second as a giant. So if you need to fight against a huge resource, a huge something like a huge python, you need to be gallant first of all, and then you need to be giant like. And you means the Casuarina tree is like a giant who can wear the huge python like creeper like a scarf. So this is what suggests the power of the Casuarina tree. So first 5 lines and till to that, basically this first 5 lines suggest the existence of the tree and its endurance, the durability, the strength of the tree. Next, the tree's physical description starts from this: but gallantly the giant wears the scarf, and flowers are hung in crimson clusters, all the boughs among. So you need to understand what is called a crimson clusters. We have already seen these pictures, crimson clusters. Let me show you. This is crimson clusters. The cluster, as we can suggest, that together, and the color is crimson, so this is called a crimson cluster. Now we need to find out again. This is also another, but this is not from Casuarina tree. This is a picture which focuses what is called a crimson cluster. The cluster is here and the color is crimson, so crimson cluster. Now in crimson clusters all the boughs among, whereon all day are gathered bird and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close. Now find out this: crimson clusters all the boughs among, whereon all day are gathered bird and bee. Now if you have the picture like this, like this, so if the flower is here, it has to be that there must be bees and birds all day. So the tree has also its beauty, and because of its attraction, the birds and bees are attracted due to these crimson flowers and fruits, etc., because there is indeed honey. So in crimson clusters all the boughs among, whereon all day are gathered bird and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows. See, day, here we have the description of the day. So the tree is in daytime, the tree is in nighttime. Whereon all day are gathered bird and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree. So there is another song coming from that. Now we have here references to other texts which we can find easily. Now how we can find easily? Here we have a reference to the Darkling Thrush. So this is a poem by Thomas Hardy, Darkling Thrush. As you can see, this is a very usual picture, and here is the poem. Now we are going to refer to that. This is what the Darkling Thrush is all about. The poet is here. This is the poet, and this is the Darkling thrush. The bird is called the thrush. Its beautiful voice is heard by the poet in the chilled winter day or winter evening. Now if we refer back to the Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy, we have here something we need to focus on. Just a second. Now we have here, see that at once a voice arose among the black twigs overhead in full-hearted evensong of joy illimited. An aged thrush, frail and gaunt and small, in blast beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the greying gloom. Now we need to understand the winter is heavy, and there is at once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overheard in full-hearted evensong of joy limited. So the bard, the thrush, is a ray of hope to the poet. Now here in Casuarina tree, the tree is also a ray of hope, but this is not only a ray of hope, but also it suggests a stronger sense of memory, a very strong ground to remember ideas. Now if you can go back to your materials which I have already given you, see there is this passage, and in this passage you will find the poem Our Casuarina Tree is a beautiful symbolic poem harmonizing both matter and manner in accurate proportion. The tree stands for a symbolic representation of Toru's past memory. What I exactly meant, the past memory of Toru Dotto's. Apparently, it symbolizes the rich tradition of Indian culture and philosophy which played an important role in shaping the poetic and aesthetic sensibility of the poets. In Keats's Ode to a Nightingale, the bard symbolizes the world of art and beauty. In Shelley's To a Skylark, the bard is a symbol of freedom and liberty. Similarly, in Toru Dotto's Our Casuarina Tree, the tree connotes the nostalgic feelings and memory of Toru Dotto. This is the tree under which he played with his brother sister of Juanaru. See, this is what I am talking about. So there's a reference to Ode to a Nightingale, also a reference to a skylark, and here another I have given you just that the Darkling Thrush. So 3 references is here. Now I need to point out some pictures over here. So this one is definitely as you have the Darkling Thrush, and regarding with this you have another poem. See that this is where the Ode to a Nightingale, this nightingale is singing from the darkling, the dark atmosphere, and here we have the picture of the poet too. Here Keats is sitting here listening to that beautiful song of the bard. Probably it is here in the picture, and the poet is here listening to that beautiful song. So every object, as we can understand, takes a symbolic meaning to its ultimate end. Now as for Casuarina tree, this is also symbolic, as we have already understood it. The Casuarina tree suggests that strong sense of presence, strong sense of memory, which is very important, or which was very important for the poetess Toru Dotto. Now let us move on to the lines. Whereon all day are gathered bard and bee, and of nights and garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree. While men repose when first my casement is wide open. See, you need to understand what is casement. Now I have here for you the picture of casement. This is casement. So if you open, because it is basically a window, if you open, a vast land is seen. There is another picture of casement. See that? So oftentimes it happens that the casement is located to that direction of your garden or a porch or a very beautiful scenery. So opening your casement so that you can see the trees, the garden or lawn, etc. Now move on to the poem again. When first my casement is wide open thrown, at dawn my eyes delighted on it rest. So at dawn, the time is dawn. Look at the time references continuously. Say there is day, there is night, and there is dawn. So every time the reference is replete with the images of Casuarina tree. So at dawn my eyes delighted on its rest, sometimes and most in winter on its crest a grey baboon sits statue-like alone. Now you have to understand it. Sometimes and most in winter on its crest, most in winter, see that, most in winter, the winter season is referred. On its crest a grey baboon sits like statue, like alone. Now you have to understand what is a grey baboon. Now I have also a picture of a grey baboon. See, this is a grey baboon. This is baboon. and this is the whole picture of a baboon sitting like a statue. Now I have also probably another picture of a gray baboon, but where, yes, stays sitting statue like here on the tree. A gray baboon is sitting statue like. Why statue like? Because it is fixed, and the poetess tries to enjoy that sight by saying it. A gray baboon sits statue like alone, watching the sunrise, while on lower boughs his puny offspring leap about and play. Puny offsprings, his children probably. So baboon is probably personified as a human being who is watching the sunrise. So probably the baboon is watching. It suggests that the baboon can understand the meaning of sunrise, or can understand the beauty of the sunrise. So it is indeed beautiful, and the baboon can understand that beauty indeed. So while on lower boughs you have your puny offsprings leap, that means the baboon's puny offsprings leap about and play, and far and near cochllas hail the day. See that this is the beauty of the Casuarina tree. It is association. And now every beautiful aspect very naturally is associated or are associated with this particular tree called Casuarina. Because the poet's mind is so fresh, and she feels delighted whenever she thinks of the Casuarina tree, she is giving the descriptions of that Casuarina tree and its related aspect, which are all positive. And look at here, watching the sunrise. The baboon is watching the sunrise, while on lower blows his puny offsprings leap about and play. So nature in its full bloom. And far and near cochllas hail the day. So you have the song of the cochllas, you have a beautiful scenario of gray baboon and its offsprings are playing on the same tree. And to their pastures went our sleepy cows. To their pastures went our sleepy cows, and in the shadow on the broad tank cast. Now hold it for a second. Now here you have wind, the word wind, and to their pastures went our sleepy cows. Wind means probably go in a specified direction, typically slowly or by an indirect route. So in an indirect route, the cows moving slowly, sleepy cows. Therefore the cows are sleepy because their movements are very slow. To their pastures, then the pastures live. So in their idealistic and so they are very idealistic in the sense they are not moving fast. They have not very straightforward activities, so they just need to pass their time, and therefore they are sleepy cows. So time is moving slowly, no hurry, no din and bustle. Such kind of activities are happening all around. So you have a full picture of that beautiful day, beautiful picture of the Casuarina tree and its related aspects. And in the shadow on the broad tank cast by the whole tree. So the broad tank was there. There was a tank, water tank, and it was broad. So, and in that shadow, so the broad tank is casting the shadow by that whole tree. So you need to understand what is called the whole tree. You see, whole suggests a big one, so probably grayish white or gray haired with age, that is called whore tree. So I have also another picture of a whore tree. Let me show you. This is called the whore tree. The frost is all around in the tree, so grayish. It's not whitish, rather it's grayish. So due to the color it becomes grayish, so that's why it is called a whore tree. So by that whore tree is so beautiful and vast. Indeed it is beautiful, and indeed it is vast. The water lilies spring like snow in mast. So water lilies, we all know what is called a water lily, and here it is. This is a water lily. So there is the picture of the water lily. So images are all replete with this area full of different images, different symbolical factors. So by that whole tree so beautiful and vast, the water lilies spring like snow and mast. So as I have seen that picture to you, snow and mast, as if the gray color is covering with that whole area. So it's like whitish. It's not like whitish, it's like grayish. It's like war. It's like a war tree, and that's why it is called a war tree. But that water is so beautiful and vast. The water lilies spring like snow and mist. So the water lilies together with that grayish color of the tree, every aspect present over there seem to the poetess as frost fallen, or enmeshed with snow enmeshed, covered with snow. But not come again, but not because of its magnificence dear is the Casuarina tree to my soul. Now up to this line 22, from the first line, you have the description of the tree, you have the description of the power of the tree, you have also the description of nature, and you have also the description of beauty associated with it. Now from line 23, see that there is another but, and as you are all aware of the sonnet 18, so this is a turn. Probably there is another turn in the poem. So but suggests that turn, because from this line 23, from this very word but, the poetess probably tries to say something more intense, more associated with her own life. So look at the line. But not because of its magnificence dear is the Casuarina tree to my soul. See, so the poetess tries to figure out that the tree is indeed magnificent, but this is not the reason, this is not the only reason why the Casuarina tree is dear to her soul. So maybe there are some other reasons, or at least there is one reason that we can find throughout the lines. Let us dig down. Beneath it we have played, though years may roll, O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. So the reason is very clear here. Beneath it we have played. So the poetess played beneath the tree. Though years may roll, O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. So this is the reason why the tree should be very dear to the poetess. Now, as we can understand, there is an autobiographical element embedded within the poem. Now, not only the tree is beautiful because it is beautiful, it is indeed bigger. It has crimson clusters of flowers and fruits. It has the grey baboon. It has the nightingales or skylark, etc. You have also here an autobiographical element which suggests that Toru Dutta is very much associated with the tree, because the tree gives her that image and feeling and symbolical existence which she had already spent in her earlier years. So that's why the sweet companions made the tree loved, made the tree magnificent, made the tree ever dear to her. So the tree was dear not only because the tree was beautiful, but also it created certain memories within her mind. It gave her certain beautiful fresh air. It gave her fresh memories to her. That's why it was magnificent. That's why the tree was very dear to her. So sweet companions, these sweet companions probably Abju and Aru, as we have already read, loved with love intense. So intense love, loved with intense love. Love intense means intense love. Oh sweet companions, with love, intense love, they have loved her. So loved with love intense suggests that loved with a condensed love, complete love. For your sake shall the tree be ever dear. So therefore the tree actually becomes here, as for the poetess Toru Dutta, the tree suggests the objective correlative to the poetess mind. Now what is an objective correlative? Now let us try to find out what is an objective correlative. As our internet suggests, this the Wikipedia. Let us go through the Wikipedia. So Wikipedia suggests this theory is invented by T.S. Eliot. So this is the person who invented this, and where he has written about it, this here, Hamlet and his problems, in his essay. And this Hamlet and his problems was published in the Sacred Wood. It's a collection of 20 essays where he wrote about this objective correlative and Shakespeare's incomplete development of Hamlet's emotions in the play Hamlet. Now, what is an objective correlative? To try to understand, let us try to understand that. Perhaps little more than the ancient distinction between mimesis and diegesis. You cannot understand this particular detail. We can find it here in the expression. So see that objective correlative, in other words, a set of objects, a situation, a chain of events which shall be the formula of that particular emotion, such that when external facts which must terminate in a sensory experience are given, the emotions is immediately evoked. So there was not a direct speech or any direct action, but a set of objects, a situation or chain of events which shall be the formula of that particular emotion. So the emotion is not directly expressed, but a set of objects or situation has been given. For example, Eliot gave the example of Hamlet, but let us try to give the example of Lady Macbeth. So in Lady Macbeth's last Act 5 Scene 1, we can see that Lady Macbeth's actions was completely yes, definitely against her, but it gave all the expressions related to the rest of the text. So what she had done earlier, what she had committed earlier, all the crimes are even rehearsed in the scene. So those are the objective correlative of the present status of the mind. So this is an objective correlative. Now we can refer back to the poem, see that so the objective correlative of Toru Dutta is here the tree. The tree invoked every idea associated in her past life. So the tree also invoked the beauty, the tree also invoked what time she had spent with her siblings, brothers and sisters under the tree. So everything was very clear. Everything was becoming clear due to that tree. So the tree is the sole aspect of the poetess, and the poetess tries to give us that benefit, that idea of her past life. So that in that way the tree becomes the objective correlative of the poet. Now, blend with your images, it shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind my eyes. Naturally, whenever it performed in that way, whenever the poetess tried to think of them, it gave a sordid memory, because they are not now, because they were not present at that time. So that reflected in her memory, and because of that reflection, due to that reflection, the poetess cried automatically, and the tears definitely hot, blinded her eyes. What is that dirge like murmur I hear, like the sea breaking of a shingle beach? Now you have an idea of a shingle beach, but okay, I have also a picture of shingle beach. So this is called a shingle beach. The beach is filled with this so this is a shingle beach. Now let me focus, which I presently forget. Here you have this in memory till the hot years blind my eyes, and this memory reflected also in another poem. Now the material that I have given to you here, you have in this fourth stanza, the previous one. See that the beauty of the tree is not more than an added gift. Its actual importance lies in the fact that it is a part of Dutta's existence, a reminder of family ties, of warmth shared by three siblings, the Abju Aru Toru. Bonding was indeed strong, and in Sita, that is the point. In Sita, Toru mentions three happy children sitting in a dark room listening to a story, and then shies because she knows that they will never again by their mother's side. gather. Like kids, she had to suffer a lot. She had seen bitter struggle for her life and death, untold miseries after death of her beloved brother and sister. So that same thing happened with Keats too, because Keats's brother was dead and died of the spectre thin. So his phrases were like the spectre thin beauty, as in Ode to a Nightingale. Tuberculosis. So because of tuberculosis, Keats's brother died. So this is what Toru Dutta's main concern. The autobiographical elements are replete with this stanza, and here you can also find that Dutta's the way of telling, the way of expressing his existence and his memories are imbued in these lines. So naturally, when moving on to the next lines from line number 30, what is the dirge like murmur I hear, like the sea breaking on a shingle beach? So shingle beach is clear. What is the dirge like murmur? So dirge like murmur, we usually hear it due to a the expression suggests so many aspects. However, if we go to that internet, we can also find, see that this dirge like murmur is here. It signifies that the tree shares sad moments of the poetess and mourn along with her. So this is what dirge like murmur suggests. Now if you can really serious about anything that is creative in that sense, that dirge like murmur is given to that the tree as if is sharing or mourning. See that this is also an explanation or an example of personification, because the tree shares her feelings. The tree is very sympathetic to the poetess's life. The poetess is also attached to that tree. So the tree in one sense is the symbolic representation of the poet's or poetess's self. In another hand, it is the objective correlative of the poet. And in third way, it gives birth to so many symbolical references. And here it is, what is that like dirge like murmur that I hear, as if the poet is not the poet, the tree is mourning because of the poetess's loss. So that is the dirge like murmur that I hear, as if someone is mourning due to someone's death. So dirge is the murmur is induced or introduced because of the dirge, because of someone's death. So there is the death of Abju and Aru, and as if the tree is feeling very sad, very non-expressive in its own way. So the poetess can hear the dirge like murmur because she is so much associated with the tree. She can hear that murmur, like the sea breaking of a shingle beach, as we can understand that this shingle beach, as if the waves are coming to that shingle beach, and when the waves fall upon the beach, the sound is like exactly like that dirge like murmur. It is the tree's lament and airy speech. Now you can also find here the poetess is clear about that dirge like murmur, because according to her, this dirge is the tree's lament. And airy speech, airy in the sense very strange. Airy suggests strange, very strange. So strange speech of the tree breaking on a shingle beach, and we can all understand the kind of sound that it reproduces. So it is the tree's lament and airy speech that happily to the unknown land may reach. So that happily to the unknown land may reach. Happily suggests perhaps to the unknown land may reach. This unknown land is beyond imagination, beyond reaching. So that airy speech is probably going to that unknown land. Maybe it's reaching to that unknown land which cannot be accessible by human beings anymore, cannot be accessible by common human being, better to say. Unknown yet well known to the eye of faith. Look at the line. In this line you have first of all unknown and then well known. So both unknown and well known. Now Here in this line, the line is antithetical, as we can understand, because of unknown and well known, but the line is philosophical too. Unknown yet well known to the eye of faith. See, what is the eye of faith then? Okay, so unknown yet well known to the eye of faith. Now I would like you to move to your part of the answer script where the fourth stanza, just I'm reading it for you. Look at it. The fourth stanza is highly philosophical. The poet observes the unknown yet well known to the eyes of faith. Here the term unknown denotes not simply the native home of the poet, but also the world of the departed soul. A man who has the eye of faith can see the unknown as well known. Yoga also says that when a man has an unwavering faith in the existence of the divinity through the art of meditation and poetry, nothing remains unknown to him in the universe, because he lives on the plane of consciousness, usually felt as a vacuum of the transcendental stage of samadhi. This is what exactly Toru feels here. Interestingly, Toru's mystical and spiritual approach to poetry is centered to her profound knowledge of great Sanskrit epics and scriptures. So it is evident that this knowledge of transcendentalism, that means transferring yourself to the another non-existent world, from the daily drudgeries, from the daily activities, the mundane world, mundane activities, from there you are transferring yourself to the other world, and this you can achieve by a constant use of your consciousness or yoga, through yoga. So Toru feels here the mystical and spiritual approach to poetry, and it is centered to her profound knowledge of great Sanskrit epics and scriptures. Because of the reading of Sanskrit epics and scriptures, she knew very well about these ideas. So why not using those ideas into the poem? And as it is expressed, now reading the last part of the same paragraph, the music which Toru refers here is not an ordinary music which we hear in our day-to-day life. It is music of the soul, which once it is attained never dies and continues to vibrate with the highest percipient in the mind of the speaker. So this highest percipience in the mind of the speaker, it suggests that it is always reverberating in her mind. The music, as if it is the music of the soul. It's not an ordinary music that gives birth to by the tree. So Toru Dutta is not like the skylark of Shelley, the scorner of the ground, but she is the skylark of Wordsworth, a pilgrim of the sky, and does not despise the earth where cares abound. There are two poems on the same skylark, one by Shelley, another by Wordsworth. So Toru Dutta is basically referring to the pilgrim of the sky. Now let me show you, as I have shown you the picture of nightingale. So this is skylark. Okay, now on the same bard, Wordsworth also wrote poetry, and your Shelley is also wrote poetry on this part. So now here on the poem, in distant lands by many sheltered bay, waves gently kissed, unknown yet well known to the eye of faith, as I have heard that wail far far away in distant lands by many a sheltered bay. Now this eye of faith is the way of expression of the poet. As an artist, those who are artists, they can transform himself or herself to that unknown land or world by using the faith, by using the imagination. Now the power of imagination, that matters everything. Once you become imaginative, you can achieve everything so far. So because of the eye of faith, every unknown factors are well known. Now let me refer you back to that poem of Brotherhood by Octavio Paz, and let me refer back to you this Brotherhood, homage to Claudius Ptolemy. I am a man, little do I last, and the night is enormous, but I look up the stars right. Unknowing, I understand, I too am written. This part, unknowing, I understand, I too am written, because I'm an artist, because I'm creative, so I have the power to challenge. Now, therefore, Toru Dutta is also here challenging the same with the same concept, that unknown, all the unknown facts are known to the eye of faith, because she is an artist, because she is a poetess, and because she can transform, because she can transcend ideas to one being to another, to one place to another, to one region to another. That's why unknown yet well known to the eye of faith. I have heard that wail far, far away in distant lands by many a sheltered bay. So the poetess can hear that wail. Wail is the bemoaning. Bemoaning, why? Because this is the airy speech. The same wail is the airy speech because it is the dirge-like murmur of the tree. That is why this is the wail. Far, far away, because it is in. Why far away? Because it is in distant lands. In distant lands by many a sheltered bay. Now, sheltered bay may suggest, okay, let me show you the picture here. Here's a sheltered bay. It's a bay that offers you some kind of shelter, usually from the weather. A sheltered bay might only be a real quiet place by some type of wind or wave direction. There's always an opening, so depending on the orientation of the storm, it might be a shelter anymore. So this is the sheltered bay. Sheltered bay. A bay, we all know, is a ocean, an ocean, and this is a sheltered area. Sheltered area means because of the wind's direction, it is changed sometimes, so it might be a real quiet place. So in a quiet place, it is the simple meaning. In distant lands by many sheltered bay, there are lots of quiet atmospheres, atmospheric changes are not there. So when slumbered in his cave the water wraith, and the waves gently kissed the classic shore of France or Italy beneath the moon, when art lay tranced in a dreamless zone, and every time the music rose before mine inner vision rose a form sublime. Oh, all right. So, and the waves gently kissed the classic shore, because there were waves, because there were and it's because the shingle beach there are always waves. And classic shore, because the shore was classic, because it was old, age-old shore. That's why it's classic of France or Italy. Maybe in France, maybe or in Italy. Beneath the moon, under the sky. Beneath the moon suggests under the sky. When earth lay tranced in a dreamless zone. Lay tranced. Now, it here you have the word lay tranced. When earth lay tranced in a dreamless zone. See that tranced is the very word trance suggests the half-conscious state, characterized by an absence of response to external stimuli. That means that you are not giving response to the external stimuli. That means someone is calling, you are not giving response. Someone is pricking you and you do not respond. That is called tranced. So when earth lay tranced in a dreamless zone, it's like a dreamlike state. So as if you have no activity, you have no consciousness in such kind of a state. And every time the music rose before mine inner vision rose a form sublime. Every time the music rose, the same music that is here spoken of that is here in the spoken of the music, where is that? That music which Toru refers here is not an ordinary music which we hear in our daily life. It is a music to the soul, which once it is attained never dies and continues to vibrate with the highest perseverance in the mind of the speaker. This is seeker, not speaker, seeker. This is the music that Toru Dutta speaks about. It is within, it is from the soul. So every time the music rose before mine inner vision rose from a sublime. Thy form, O tree, as in my happy prime. Okay, let me explain a bit the early lines. Line number 42. Mine inner vision rose a form sublime. So sublimity is something else. You need to understand what is called the form of sublime. In that case, In that case, sublime suggests, here we need to go through a reference. Sublime is a reference to the On the Sublime. On the Sublime suggests by Longinus. On the Sublime by Longinus is a work of literary criticism thought to date back to 1st century Rome, while the author is not definitely known. Longinus or Pseudo-Longinus is typically credited to the work On the Sublime is a work of art by Longinus. Now, what Longinus had said in this critical essay. To go the sublimity in more depth, Longinus provides 5 sources that can lead to this goal. Great thoughts, see that, great thoughts, noble diction, dignified word arrangement, strong emotions, and particular figures of speech or thoughts. So either you have to have great thoughts or noble diction. Noble diction means great language, dignified word or arrangement, strong emotions, particular figures of speech or thoughts. These will create the sublimity in writing. Longinus was specifying the writing. Now here sublimity comes from within. Mine inner vision rules a form sublime. It suggests that the poetess tries to develop a form of sublimity where she had the inner thought which was greater, and the way of expression, that means the diction, seemed to be better and better. So that made her somehow in the form sublime. So her inner vision rose a form sublime. It suggests that she achieved a kind of sublimity. Once she thought about that music, and once the music, like her soul, is attached or was attached very much. Thy form, O tree, see line number 43, from line number 43, thy form, O tree, as in my happy prime, saw thee in my own loved native clime. So thy form, it is the structure. O tree, this is O tree is an apostrophe, an impassioned address to an inanimate object. So in that case, that an inanimate object is the tree. However, the tree is not basically an inanimate object. It is indeed animate. However, here the tree, an apostrophe to tree is mentioned. As in my happy prime, saw thee in my own loved native clime. So native climate, clime is climate, happy prime is the happy moment, happy hours. Saw thee, saw you in my own loved native clime. In my native climate I have seen you. Therefore I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor. Therefore I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor. Therefore she is trying to write consecrate a lay. Consecrate suggests make a declaration, sacred, dedicate formally to a religious purpose. And lay here suggests a short lyric or narrative poem meant to be sung. So therefore I fain would consecrate a lay. Would consecrate a lay suggests that I am going to write, or I'm going to sing a very beautiful song or a short song about you unto thy honor. Because of your honor I'm going to write down a poetry, write down a poem. Tree, beloved of those who now in blessed sleep in death, in peaceful death. So sleep is the second self of death, as we know, and it is also understood from Macbeth, a sleep that breaks no more. So sleep is a kind of second self to death. So who now in blessed sleep. So this is periphrasis. In a periphrasical way it is expressed. It is in roundabout expression. See that figures of speech. In that way the writing gets its sublimity, as we have already discussed about the sublimity from Longinus. For I repose dearer than life to me, alas. So they are now in repose, they are resting. Dearer than life to me, so they were very dear to me. Abju, Aru, both were very dear to him. Alas, were they? Alas, were they? Say that, dearer than life to me, alas, were they? So they were dearer than life to me. So dearer than life to me, alas, were they? It is sort of the sentence is like an chiasmus, something like ami cha khabo na cha. It's kind of that. So dearer than life to me, alas, were they? So they were dearer than life to me. Mayst thou be numbered when my days are done with deathless trees like those in Borodel, under whose awful branches lingered pale fear, trembling hope and death, the skeleton and time, the shadow. So now Mayst thou be numbered when my days are done. Thou mayst be numbered when my days are done. When my days are done means when I will be in deathbed, when my time will over, with deathless trees like those in Borodale. So here, almost at the end of the poem, last few lines from 48 to 55, let us go back to the same material that I have provided you, and let us discuss from there. So coming at the end of the poem, she absolutely transcends the mortal, materialistic and mundane frame of mind and attains the power of love to overcome the negative forces of life like death and darkness, terror and fear. In this stanza, the words and the phrases like trembling hope, love, death, the skeleton and oblivion are very suggestive. She means to say that a man of unflinching love and devotion never fears the blows of death. So she means to say that a man of unflinching love and devotion never fears the blows of death. As I have said, Toru does not express any desire to fade far away and dissolve. Fade, far away, dissolve are these words. These words are actually taken from Keats's Ode to a Nightingale. So their Casuarina tree does not make her long for easeful death. Instead, even though its timelessness mocks the transience of the human world. Okay, let us discuss again these lines. So line number 48 to 55. There are lots of autobiographical references, and in these references we can find at the end like those, same as thou be numbered when my days are done, with deathless trees like those in Borodale. So here in Borodale, she is just making another comparison, but before that let me show you the scenario of Borodale. Here you have, this is the scenario of Borodale. Now these yew trees were important. Borodale was also important for Wordsworth. Wordsworth made immortal these yew trees of Borodale. Probably there is another picture of Borodale, and let me point that out to you. This is another picture of Borodale walking in these Borodale areas were very beautiful. As you can notice, this is excellent to look at. Now, as we are talking about this Borodale, that mayst thou be numbered when my days are done, with deathless trees like those in Borodale. So she wants to make, similarly, just like Wordsworth made the yew trees of Borodale immortal, she wanted to, or wants to, whatever, make the Casuarina tree as immortal, and she wants to make that number with the deathless trees, because the tree has to be immortal. And you can check out that Borodale, the Borodale Valley lake near Keswick, Cumbria. So whenever it is point out in that way. So with deathless trees, Borodale, Wordsworth, as for Toru, like Borodale's yew trees, she wants to make the Casuarina tree as immortal. Now, because she wants to make the Casuarina tree immortal, she has chosen this format of poetry. As you can remember in sonnet 18, that the sonneteer wants to convey his regards to his friend, not because his friend is beautiful, but because he wants to make immortal his friend through his verse. So verse becomes important. But here you can have that difference. It is not that the poetry, because poetry is a piece of art, a creative work, it is indeed immortal, but as for Toru wants to make not the poetry immortal, rather the tree immortal. And here is the slight difference between sonnet 18 and your Casuarina tree. But you can still give the example in your answer script. You can make a direct comparison of these two poems. Now, as for these autobiographical elements, as we are talking about here, I have probably missed that part. See, here in the line numbers, Italy, where is that? You can find it line number 39 of France or Italy. So why all of a sudden these words France and Italy came into existence? So when slumbered in his new car, the water raid and the waves gently kiss the classic shore of France or Italy. No, France or Italy because she studied there. Toru studied there in France and Italy, and therefore she brought back those two segments, those two areas into her poem, and this is a clear reference to her autobiographical elements, autobiographical mixture. Now go back to the main segment. Means thou be numbered when my days are done with deathless trees like those in Borodel. So under whose awful branches lingered pale, fear, trembling, hope and death, the skeleton and time, the shadow. And though weak the verse that would thy fain or fain rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion's curse. Now here I can give you a simplistic suggestion or explanation, rather kind of summary from the Wikipedia. Now let us move back to Wikipedia segment. Here you have, where is it? Here is that. Now follow the last segment. See here, even in France or Italy she can hear the trees lament. The poet wishes to contemplate the trees' memory and importance for the sake of those who are now dead, and looks ahead of her own death, hoping that the tree be spared obscurity. No one will remember it, because after her death, that's what I said, after her death the tree will not be remembered by anyone. That's why, this is the reason why she wanted to make it remembered to everyone. That is why she would write a poem on it. She would consecrate a lay on that poetry. She immortalizes the tree through this poem, like how Wordsworth sanctified the yew trees of Borodel, just what I said. She says, may love defend thee from oblivion's curse, the last line, expressing her wish that love shield her tree against the curse of forgetfulness. So it is her love which make the tree mortal, and nobody will forget the tree. Exactly what happened here. Under whose awful branches lingered pale, fear, trembling, hope, death, and the skeleton, and time, the shadow. So time is basically the shadow. Because of time, people will forget. Now this is the oblivion's curse, because more the time will go, the more people will forget about things, and that would happen with the same Casuarina tree. Under whose awful branches, because the branches are great, bigger, that's why it's awful, lingered pale, fear, trembling, hope. So fear is like a trembling hope, and death, so everything is lingering, roaming about under the awful branches of the tree. The skeleton is the last stage of a human being, because the skeleton is the body, the structure without soul. Time, the shadow. So every aspect. Now we also can refer back to that same part where we left it away. See that she means to say that a man of unflinching love and devotion never fears the blows of death. Toru does not express any desire of fate far away and dissolved. Their Casuarina tree does not make her long for peaceful death. Instead, even though timelessness mocks the transience of the human world, the tree is to her a support, a reminder of the joy she once experienced with Abjur and Oru. Now here again, you have that under whose awful branches lingered pale, fear, trembling, hope, and death, the skeleton, and time, the shadow. So every negative aspect is under the awful branches. So it is the love which can make immortal the tree. So against the fear, against the trembling hope, against death, against the skeleton and time, the shadow, what considers to be the greatest is love. Though weak the verse, and though weak the verse that would thy beauty fain, or fain rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion's curse. Maybe my poetry will not be that good, though weak the verse. So maybe the verse is weak, maybe that poetry will not give that charm. That would thy beauty fain, maybe your beauty will not be glorified in proper way. Or fain rehearse, however, it is a rehearsal, it is the fain rehearsed, written again and again in that poem. May love defend thee from oblivion's curse. So it is the love. See that the love is written in capital L. So love is here emphasized. Love has its distinct features. Love is typified love is supposed to be the greatest power in this world. So may love defend thee from oblivion's curse. So the oblivion's curse is that people will forget. So only love can bring back you to this world. Now again, let me compare sonnet 18 to that Casuarina tree. In sonnet 18 there is also love. Because of love the sonneteer was writing that sonnet. However, at the end, from the turn in the next, so what my point is that in sonnet 18, whereas there is love, the existence of love, and because of the turn from the sestet but, the same but suggests that it is not you, my friend, who is important in the sonnet, rather it is my verse which is important. Now somehow there is a glimpse of that maybe Toru is supporting that the Casuarina tree is not that important. Maybe her verse is important. However, you need to point out that she is writing that, and though weak the verse, so she is not asserting that her verse will be greater. She is on the other hand asserting that maybe her verse will not be that good. However, she means the Casuarina tree will be remembered through the verse. So it is the love, it is ultimately the love which gives birth to a newer idea of bringing back what is already lost. So as I can express that this is the Casuarina tree does not make her long for easeful death. Easeful is again another term taken from that Keatsian sonnet, Ode to a Nightingale. Okay, not sonnet, but Keatsian Ode to a Nightingale. Instead, even though its timelessness mocks the transience of the human world, so the tree has to be timeless. Tree has to be immortal, and it mocks this immortal feature of the tree, mocks the transience of the human world. The human world will not belong forever, but the tree will. The tree is to have a support, a reminder of the joy she once experienced with Abjanoru. So in the final stanza, Toru, aware of both the Druidism and the customary tree worship in India, wishes to concentrate a lay in the Casuarina tree sonnet. Now here you need to understand what is called a Druidism. Now again, I would like to refer you to back to our internet source. Now just for a few moments, what is Druidism? You can have a longer period of lectures here, but you don't need to point out here. Say one point in Druidism you need to understand, that is the number 4, nature. It reconnects us with nature, our ancestors and ourselves, by working with plants, trees, animals, stones and ancestral stories. That is the part. Here you need to understand how Druidism is activating its ideas into our Casuarina tree. The whole poem is about the tree and its significance in Toru life. The poetess is giving expressions, after expressions, autobiographical elements, symbols, imagery, everything to point out that the tree should not be destroyed, and the significance and magnificence of the tree is enormous to her life. She remembers the tree, and she wants she wants the readers to remember the tree at the same time. Simultaneous remembrance will give birth again and again a kind of good feeling, and that good feeling will lead Toru to understand the better nature, the better part of human world. So human world is transitory always, human being is also transitory, but not the nature. Nature is fixed, nature is permanent, and because the Casuarina tree is a part of that nature, this nature is also fixed. So apparently this is the explanation and somehow creative ideas of the poem. Somehow the creative ideas of the poem, you can still explain better the poem if you go through line by line again and again and try to find out some more materials from internet or other sources available, but I believe if you can read it through in your own creative eyes and try to accumulate your knowledge, self-introductory knowledge about this poem, it will be better and better. But first of all, you need to write something on it, and you need to understand what you are writing, because maybe your writing will give a newer dimension to the poetry. I am giving you another opportunity to find out the references from other texts, so whatever you have read so far in your earlier syllabus. earlier syllabi or earlier classes from class 11 to the part 1 first semester, you can have, I believe, so many texts and other references. Now do it for every other text, not only for this Casuarina tree but also from other texts too. I have seen some, I have already shown you some. Now in the same way you can do it better and better in your next readings.